I want to also seize this opportunity to acknowledge the chairman of Athens and to say that when I got the invite, my heart was, I was gladdened, for the initiative. In my former life, in my former career, I've all worked with the media at one point or the other. And I know the importance of the media in the success of any organization or state. So I want to commend this noble idea for you to have a platform like this to educate, to inform, and to put the record straight. So this is worthwhile. I don't think there is any state, maybe I still need to be corrected, apart from having normal media that's being anchored by one station, and then they can invite one or two other people. But this is novel. This is totally people that think outside the box, setting a new pace. So I want to say that as far as my agency authority is concerned, we will work, we'll collaborate, with the leadership and every member. And then again, I remember when he asked for opening prayer, he was looking at my direction and my own brother would go, but the chairman, felt that this prayer might not pass this room. He quickly said there is a woman of God, so not to them. Okay, so having said that, so once again, I want to wish you a beautiful new year. This is 2026, and I'll go straight to just give an overview of what we're doing through the help and direction and leadership of His Excellency Dr. Ernest Chioma Oti OFR. UCDA covers the Umuahia Capital Territory. Umuahia Capital Territory, that's our the three local governments, partly part of Ikwanon Umuahia local government, then Umuahia North and Umuahia South. And then prior to this time, for those of us that were born here, that have lived here for years, this state capital was seen as a glorified local government. I was born here. No, I wasn't born here, but I lived my life here, and then even when I go out, I always come back. And I think there's most of us that have spent years in this city. Before 2023, you can identify where all the potholes are in Umuahia. In short, I used to use those potholes to give people directional sign. If you're going somewhere, if you call, I say, okay, gafe one pothole. If you go on the right, you pass one pothole, you turn right, there's another pothole. If you say, okay, I passed that pothole, just look on the right, you see that house. So but today, all those landmarks are no longer there. And then if you now have someone you ask now that's coming from Uyo, from the airport, you send somebody to go and pick someone from the airport. You just have only one. If you try to ask the person, where are you? People are not yet back. The next question you ask put to the person is, about fetcha laws or job. No laws or job. Also, they have batala. No issue. You know batala. Just na batala that was or job. Okay, okay, batala. Just now they get to my. So this at the point was like our identity, that Umuahia was used to, and the city itself, there was nothing to, be proud of. Nothing at all for everyone that lives in this state and this state capital. So when we resumed, with the leadership of His Excellency, one of the first things we thought through was to change this narrative, and then to change Umuahia from that name people know us with. This is a glorified village, and it was. You don't need to be told. It was even more or less like a local government headquarters. The same things that I knew when I was small. It's the same thing I kept seeing for years and years and years. So our attitude was to have a total change of the urban renewal to have a new urban renewal in terms of infrastructure, in terms of changing the road network, in terms of making the citizens take ownership of this development that is, going to happen in Umuahia. And then which was done. The first project His Excellency initiated and started in Umuahia was the former Osa Road, which is Agrirosi Boulevard now, and it was at the almost was the middle that I joined, that His Excellency invited me and appointed me as the General Manager of Umuahia Capital Development Authority. And we will all attest to the fact that the project was a learning curve, for almost every authority in the state, where people were paid compensation for their properties being removed, which was something new to the state. And the expansion of that road used to be a 4-lane. And then if you're on that stretch between the tower and Opera Square, and if there is any articulated vehicle that breaks that on that stretch, you will notice that the entire road is blocked. People cannot move again. So there were a lot of difficulties. People using that road, even going beyond during Christmas festive period. When you get to the tower, we've experienced people cannot move. People spend hours, spend almost the whole night, very late in the night before they can exit from that. So these were the reasons why that road had to be, widened, from the tower down to Opera Square. And it turned out, to be the best thing that has happened to the state. That is the gateway to the state capital, and then His Excellency now also took the next step, from the tower to Onimu, which is a federal road. And then because of his relationship, because he feels, and that's also one of the things, that every major road that comes into the state, is put to good use, So the second phase now started, and they've almost gone far on that road. So when that road was almost being completed and inaugurated, we also now did a proposal to His Excellency that the Library Avenue, that people call Bank Road, that there's need for the government to expand the road. Having lived in Umuahia, and then now appointed as the general manager, I know that road. Each time I come to the town, each time I come to Umuahia, it's always difficult to maneuver that one lane or single lane road. You see people, pedestrians with their babies, women going to FMC, people going to the secretariat, struggling, with motorists on that same small road. It was, and then a lot of crashes has occurred on that particular road, and it seems nothing could happen. So when I sat with His Excellency, and that was the same vision he has, and he said we need to. So the first thing we did was to engage all the property owners on that stretch, and then had a lot of discussions with them, try to get their buy-in into it. It took us from early 2024, 2024. But the discussion started sometime towards the end of 2023, then early 2024, almost towards the end of 2024, to engage them, to get their buy-in into, this project, because it will require adjustment of their properties, adjustment of their fence, adjustment of the ATM machine, and so on and so forth, which we did. One thing one of the managers of one of the banks told us was that this is the first time that the state government invited them for a discussion. The manager also mentioned the states that they did not even invite them. The next thing, their ATM, everything building was pulled down. That when he relayed the message to their headquarters in Lagos, that they were so glad that the state government could engage them, and then we got their buy-in. And if you remember, those things were done. There was no backlash. There was no resistance. And if you pass that route today, you can attest that if anybody tells you that buildings were removed, you won't believe it. You'll be asked if, for me, most people never believe that that route could be expanded. For me, at the first time, I said, where are you going to get this extra space? You know, but we're able to do that. And that's to say that this is a government that thinks outside the box. It's not just doing the same thing everybody is doing, you know. This is completely going outside the box too, you know. And then in addition, His Excellency also approved that we're also going to have another road within that space from Opera Square going towards Abia Line and Gushit, that will now bring you to Bende Road, where you have that clock, that tower, you know. So the negotiation with the Nigerian Railways has almost concluded. Hopefully before the end of next week, we'll start an MOU. So the design, the bill of quantities to have that road now from before you have the first bank, that road will now cross over to the other side of the city. It will ease off traffic. It will help, you know, to in traffic management within the city. And then apart from that, motorists coming from Bende that are going towards Owerri, going to Lagos, going to Enugu, they don't need to go to FMC again. They don't need to go to Shigate. They will just move straight through that road and then connect to the 6th lane, the Agui Boulevard, and it will change the face of the city. You know, and this engagement with the management of the Nigerian Railway, the MD of the Nigerian Railway even visited the state, had a courtesy visit with His Excellency, and in short, he has even sent, you know, an approval in principle to us, you know, through my WhatsApp, that go ahead. We have given you approval to go ahead, you know, but we are just trying to tidy up one or two things and then sign up the MOU officially and formally. And again, if you also look within that space, you know, that is where we are seen as the city center, you know, where you have the former Ogumabri market. You know, there is a big bus terminal, one of the best you have in Nigeria. That bus terminal, if you visit any other state that has a bus terminal, what they have there is different from what we have here. In terms of design, because the same company that is handling the one of Enugu and Abuja and Lagos is the same company. But you see that ours, we had to sit down with the contractors to redesign that one. Even the bus shelters you have within the state capital. If you've gone to Enugu recently or to Abuja, you see that their bus shelter is completely different, you know, from the one we have in Abia. And the one in Abia is much, in terms of aesthetics, in terms of size, are better off. You know, so the bus terminal, you know, is almost completed. You know, but that's not just the catcher there. Then again is that, you know, we are now going to move the railway station from its present location, you know, bring that station into that same space where you have the bus terminal. So both of them will now share the same space. So commuters, travelers that are traveling by rail, train, they will get to the bus and they will stop. Train station, they will now stop and walk over to the bus terminal. You are going to Umuahia, you are going to Aruchukwu, you are going to Umunochi, you are going to anywhere. Those buses now can now take you to where you are going. Or you are coming out into Umuahia. These buses will bring you to that bus terminal. You just come down, you are going to Enugu, you are going to Lagos by rail, or you are going to any other place you want to go to. You come down, just walk into the train station and then join the train and continue your journey. So that also is going to enhance and then change the transportation system of the states, and then now even the traffic and transportation management. And then again, the old station is not going to be demolished because we have a lot of iconic structures there. If you've gone there, if you see where their waiting room, you see their ticketing office, the state is going to preserve those iconic buildings. And then we are going to, these are some of the proposals we have put across to the NRC management, you know, to get their buy-in. If you go there, you see that their signboard, welcome to Umuahia, which was carved. It was not even written, by the colonial masters. They are still looking beautiful. So we're also going to hang them there again, and then create, a kind of a walkway, from FMC down to ShopRite, and beautify it so that at the evening time or during the daytime, people can now walk through that rail line that has flowers well lit, down to ShopRite, and it will change the face. Imagine when you sit in the area view, and then even at night when you look at that. So that is what is being that government we have almost concluded, and then the distance is so small from the Bende Road to Kushade. It's less than 210 meters, but it's just thinking through. You can just, if you don't think outside the box, you might not be able to, make impact. But nobody has ever thought of it. People have thought through that, but they did not really, execute it. Maybe because you don't have a leader who thinks outside the box as we have today. And we also noticed in front of FMC the traffic that is building up within that place. So what else? And the directive is also given there, and then we also had discussions with the CMD of the Federal Medical Center to have an exit gate. So that gate there will now serve as an entrance. So there's going to be a second gate along the Bende Road between the High Court and then the Ibek High School, so that another gate will come out from there inside FMC that will now act as an exit gate. So if you're driving through this main one, that is the other one, you can now come out from there. So again, we are done with the bill of quantities. So any moment from them between now and today's Sunday, I intend to have an audience with His Excellency, to get that one signed off. So these are some of the initiatives that we are putting forward to change the face of the city. Then again, the issue gate used to be a nightmare for everybody. So, before I relocated permanently to anytime I'm in Umuahia, I try to avoid issue gate. I don't want to even near there, because except you don't want to get to any of my appointments, I avoid issue gate. I tell people that when we started holding meetings with the people that sell on the road, because I tell them that's not a market. So I have refused to call Ishigate a market. It's because people are trading on the road, people are trading on the walkways. It's not a market in any way or form, and then people have turned it into a market. And we felt that we had this need to do something about Ishigate. The His Excellency also approved for a new location, at Afara, and compensations has been paid. We have a space that is more than 6 hectares, at Afara, compensation completely paid. His Excellency has also given a directive that the internal routes for the market, we should work on the bill of quantities, which we have completed. That will also submit to him between now and weekend. And once that is signed off, and we also want the internal routes of the market is going to come out on Abia Road. You can access that place from Abia Road. You can also access it from the back of the Golden Guinea, and it is not, it's like a relief market where people that needs to buy all these subsistence traders can stay and sell their ogo, sell their garden egg, sell things that you can easily come out from your house and go and buy. But we are looking at having up to 900 open shops and then very few lock-up shops, for that space. And it is, the design has been approved by His Excellency, and we believe that all things being equal, before the end of this year, that will be completed, because it's not going to require so much foundational work, apart from very few lock-up shops. The open shops, are just easier to, put on ground. But we're also going to provide all the necessary facilities. Police station will be there. There'll be a management office. Everything that needs to be in a market will be provided for the people there, and it will be properly organized. And we've engaged the community, we'll engage everybody. So many families that own farmlands, everything, they were all compensated. And we've cleared the site. The fence has been done. We are working on connecting the road now too. And this were done because of the same attitude of government, engaging the people, getting the community to take ownership of such projects. And it's government has taken full possession of that particular space. So then again, we are also concerned with what is happening around Tower with the articulated vehicles. And if you look at the park on that road, which on record is Osa Park, but on paper is in our mouths is Umuahia Park. But on documents that are available to us, what we have is Osa Park, but people call it Umuahia Park. So I can call Umuahia Park for the purpose of for us to understand the location I'm referring to. The place was designed, to be for articulated and trailer park. But over time, the concept was, distorted. People started building lock-up shops and so on and so forth. Again, government engaged the investor who built that particular facility. And then in spite of all the breaches, by the investor, all the terms in the MOU was completely breached. But it's essentially because he shows a human face to any Abian that have put any investment, because that facility was supposed to be paying a certain amount to government every year, which never did. It was supposed to have a timeline, within which to stay there and then hand it back to government. Rather, he started selling to individuals that were unaware that there is a timeline for him to stay. And then again, he also went and got permission from the previous government to now lease out. And they said, okay, if you lease out, which initially they said you should not, but they now said, okay, if you lease out, any action or inaction as a result of that, government is not going to be responsible for that. And you still have so and so number of years to stay and return back the place back to government. So government decided to, take control of that place, take over, and then get hold of everybody that had an investment in that place. And then valuation was done, and they were also compensated, in spite of the fact that breaches were made, by the man that, anchored that investment, And again, that place, the design is almost completed. We are also going to present the design to His Excellency. In short, as we speak now, we are working against time. So His Excellency is on our neck, to get the design presented so that that facility will now have a very good environment. The modern toilet facility has already been put there. There's someone who built a guest house. So what the government did is, okay, instead of damaging or destroying or pulling down the guest house, let's incorporate that guest house into the overall design, so that we can also minimize, the pain, people. And then there's another person that also built a gas station, which what we did, which essentially gave his approval that we can incorporate that into the park, so that people that want to use that as a gas station or to have a resting place can use. But every other facility is being put, on the drawing so that the work can now, continue as we move forward. Then you are aware about the Abia hotels, which the government has also taken full control over. The Abia hotels, we started a negotiation with the man who invested there in 2024. 2024 was when we started engaging the person, and I was or I'm the chairman of the committee set up by His Excellency, to engage with the person who invested there. And we invited the man and had several discussions with him and looked at the MOU. He brought the MOU, we showed him the MOU, he agreed, he signed the MOU, and in that MOU, he was supposed to also be paying back to government as royalty every year 3 million, which was what he signed. And the MOU was signed in 2015, and he was also supposed to upgrade Abia Hotel to a 3-star Protea Hotel, which I will leave it to you. What you know there, does it look like a 1-star or 2-star or a no-star? For me, that aspect was also breached. Was also supposed to, on that same MOU that he signed himself, in 2017, he was also supposed to, whatever design, building or structure he wants to put up, he needs to get approval from relevant government agencies, to get approval before none was done. So all the terms in that MOU was completely breached. So any government will just wake up and terminate it and ask you to just leave that space. Still, governor, because of his good heart, because he wants, every Abia soul, he doesn't, is just to lack of a better word, not being too legalistic when it comes to things that are pertaining to the Abia people. He said, okay, go and engage with this young man and let us know what he has spent. And we had that discussion with him, and after a point we arrived at an amount, and he pleaded with government, please, I don't want this amount to be made known to the public, because if this amount is made known to the public, the amount we agreed, negotiated amount, that he even brought valuers. First of all, send us a bill of 900 and something million. We said, no, don't throw an amount to us. Give us the breakdown, how you arrived at this amount. He went and engaged Jide Taiwo. Jide Taiwo now gave us their breakdown, and it moved from 900,000 to another amount lower, and we engaged him, and we said, okay, Jide Taiwo, what you gave us as if the man built from scratch. There were properties there were buildings there were facilities in that space, and in the MOU, it was said, if you want to improve or redesign, get approval, which I said was not gotten from the man who invested there. But at the end of the day, government now agreed on an amount, and then also say, okay, fine, we're not going to make the amount public, because he pleaded on security basis. And we said, okay, so to protect you, we won't. But the next thing we heard is that because the political party wanted to use the place, that was why the government is, after he has collected the money, we have paid him, he signed off for the money, paid into his account, and then even when we wanted to pay him, he said we should pay in 2 different accounts. We said, how can we pay in 2 different accounts, We must pay in 1 account, as if we knew, what is going to happen. And then the next thing was all over the social media, because somebody wanted to use the place, and that's why this discussion started in 2024. Money has been paid into his account, you collected the money, and then you refuse to, leave. So, but government has fully taken control, and a better facility will be put in that place, once the approval is gotten from His Excellency. So, a lot is going on within the Umuahia Capital Territory. The Excellency is working towards having a 5-star hotel in Umuahia. His Excellency, the area of flooding in Umuahia, if you check from 2023 till date, the streets that used to be flooded, a lot has been done. We've done a lot of desilting on some major routes, on some major drainages within the city. And then so much is also going to happen in 2026, which is also captured in our budget. And then we are aware that there is this river or this water flow that comes from coming through from Abia side through the commissioner's quarters, that goes through commercial scholars to Winners, then to Ehimiri. A lot of people have built on those drainage lines, and we are going to identify those properties and then remove them and then ensure that that stretch, is free. What we're doing is to give the city a new face, to give Umuahia a new life, and to change this nomenclature and then the narrative that this capital is a glorified local government, and this is going to be the last time. People that will come to Umuahia by Easter, they will definitely find it difficult to locate their bearings. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Yes, there is this bypass before Jogara Square that bursts into Upakala Street. Are you thinking of doing anything about that bypass?
Since you mentioned about building a 5-star hotel in Umuahia, I am asking, are we still sticking with the old or the new government house, converting it to 5-star hotel, or a new location entirely? Thank you very much, sir.
Skill FM.
Yes. First of all, let me congratulate you on the appointment as the GM. Capital Development Authority. So now, how would you assess the synergy within your office, that of possibly the chairman of the local government area and the assembly member representing Umuahia North and South?
By your authority to open up a capital city. Because when you look at Umuahia now, it looks as if, we are clustered trying to develop one or two places in the capital city. If we do not decongest the capital city, it may not look like other towns. You can find a beautiful place and say, at this time, this place is beautiful, but people are congesting themselves into the place we call township. So what are the plans of the UCDA to make sure that they decongest and expand this aesthetics which the government is bringing to Abia? That's one. Then number two, you made mention that from Tower at Bende Road, that there's going to be an access road to Opera Square. And that is making us believe that the park, Abba Park there, is going to live there. Because that road is so small. And we already have existing buildings by the left-hand side. So how are you going to handle that project? Are you going to build another edifice at that park, or there's going to be an open place so that there will be expansion of such road? Because then the road is already 2-lane. How do you hope to handle this?
Good afternoon once again, sir. My name is Chris Obi, popularly known as Mr. C, head of Station Family Law from Umuahia. Alright, so you talked about the Abia Hotel from Umuahia. I know sometime in November last year, the state government did a relocation of the Sea of Hope to the former management of the hotel. I know you talked about the processes, the negotiations that commenced in 2024, but we understand that the management has taken the state government to court. I want to find out what is the status of the court process. Has it been settled? And would the state government say go ahead? We talked about a 5-star hotel despite the case that is before the High Court of Umuahia, as I understand. Thank you very much.
As a station manager, Flow FM. Now, the new bus terminal, I looked at the space and I imagined a park, Ochendo Park, for instance. I imagined all the coastal buses in that Ochendo Park moved into the new bus terminal. You can't find a space anymore for even the Peace Park and all those other people who load around the she gates that go outside of these gates. So I don't know whether you have taken into cognizance the fact that that space is small And what is the fate of that building at the center of that particular space? Would it go down?
The first one from Chidi Asonia, the manager, ZKFM. And he talked about the bypass. You know, I'm sure the bypass is that goes through before Bala Square, that goes through Bakala. That's why you have Okigwe Park. That bypass will still remain. You know, and we're also going to give a facelift to the one that is behind the former bicycle repairers shop, Alo Street, that comes south to Club Road. You know, so that road is going to be reconstructed, you know, so that it will ease traffic for people coming into that Okigwe Park. And if you also remember that we used to have the bicycle repairers at that place, and at a point it turned out to be the den of robbers. You can't pass there in the night, you know, until we had to go there and then remove every structure at that particular space. So that bypass is going to stay because it will ease off traffic. People coming from Izuakwale, coming into town. If you don't want to go through the main Izuakwale road, you can use that one to reduce traffic on that particular space. Then another question from Meremba. He talked about the new government house, you know, and then the 5-star hotel. You know, is that the location where the 5-star hotel is going to come up? You know, these are options. You know, these are various options, and then we are engaging reputable brands, and we are talking about 5-star. The governor, I'm sure all of us knows the test of our governor. So when he says a 5-star, it's a 5-star that is a brand that is familiar and known to everybody. So we have already opened up engagement, and engagements are going on. So we have all options within, you know, to choose from. Then another question from the Scale FM manager, Charlie Mogo, talking about the access, the synergy, you know, between us and the mayors, assembly members, representing Umuahia North, you know, and then UCDA. You know, we have a beautiful understanding, and we relate very, very well. You know, we are even on the same page in any decision we want to take. Recently, all those that have that sell around the perimeter where you have the bus terminal, you know, before the Christmas, we now, because they needed to start work on the perimeter first, we engaged them, and then when we were doing that, we had the Commissioner for Transport, we have the Mayor Umuahia North, so they were part of the team. You know, even though what they were doing that they are illegal, you know, but we still engaged them. You know, some of them pleaded that we should allow them to after Christmas, you know, but it's also delaying the job. You know, this is not the first time. We've been engaging them since 2024, 2023. You know, and each time we say, please, go Christmas, so each time Christmas. But the stage that project has gotten to, you know, I mean, they need to now move, you know, so, but to show that everybody was carried along, the local government and then the Commissioner for Transport, you know, the people were using the side of that bus terminal as loading parks and all those things, you know. So we are moving everybody temporarily into Okigwe Park. That's why we demolished and expanded that space. So a new modern toilet has been built inside that park so that will accommodate people that will be moved out from that space. Then from the chairman himself, he set plans to do all plans we have to open up the capital city. You know, the city is congested, clustered, you know, and then overstretched, which is a fact. You know, so what we have done, we are planning for a new Umuahia capital, a new Umuahia city. You know, and that city has been given approval in principle, and His Excellency has also approved, you know, a technical team to work that out. A lot of retired technocrats within the state, some present serving government officials are all part of that team. I'm also part of it, as the person anchored it. And then we have also chosen a site. It was deliberated extensively, at the ESCO meeting, not once, not twice, not 3 times. Presentations were made, and we chose different locations towards decay, towards Bende, going towards Enugu, famous site. So, and a lot of job was done, to give size of land, the topography there, can buildings be sustained there, can development move there, and then also we have the Mbarakuma, Obakala houses that will now link you, that will connect you to Sirimo, So at the end of that, and it took months for the team to now come back, and the president was also made to ESCO, and then at the end of the day, the Mbarakuma axis had a more flat land, spaces to carry out the expansion, and it will also connect to the airport. So that development can now connect you to Umuahia, moving towards Abia. So that area has been chosen. Hopefully, any moment from now, the technical team, they've submitted their initial first report, which will be presented to His Excellency for his approval. So that will take care of, trying to decongest the city and move the town in a more organized and systematic manner, to a new location. But the approach of this government is not to just have a new setup, a new location. That's what you used to hear from other states. I grew up in, if you go to Owerri today, there's a new Owerri. But when we were young, there's Aladima. Once the new Owerri came up, Aladima is like a forgotten place. So, but our own movement is going to carry both the old and the new. Development will be happening in both locations at the same time. Just yesterday, I was in a meeting, and then we even agreed, to management meeting to now open up all those estates within Umuahia, where you have Ehimiri, you have Agrinos layout. The problem we have is the road network within those estates and the city, the connection, the connectivity between the access road is not there. So you can see that it's properly planned, but the individuals, some people have now encroached their building on the road, because of the lawlessness, that is prevalent before, but we are going to correct that. It is one of the things we intend to, pursue aggressively so that agri-road, all those places can now be properly connected, and it will open the doors for Uber, for local transportation to now maneuver within the city. So it's something we see as a low-hanging fruit that we can be able to achieve in this 2026 budgetary provision. Then the other one is from, talked about from the tower to bend the road. Okay, Abia Park, if Abia Park. Square. Okay, Opera Square. Okay, then yes, your second. From Bend the road to Opera Square. What will happen to Abia Park?
Yeah.
Yes, no, Abia Park will definitely go. The park behind the chain park will also leave. So those 2 parks are going to move into the main bus terminal. And that takes me to the other question. I don't know whether he has visited that. I think it was Samson that asked that question. Samson has, I don't know whether he has visited the parking lot inside that bus terminal. The place is very big. That's a former Umuahia. And then for your information, that former, the new relief market, the size is even bigger than this former Umuahia market. So that Umuahia market has so much parking space. So much parking space, that will accommodate. By the time you take a head count of some of these vehicles, because they park indiscriminately within the city, it appears as if there are many, and then because they are not properly organized. By the time you organize them well, you see that space, if you tell you the number of vehicles that space can accommodate, is quite large, And then again, I didn't say this, hopefully by next week, we are going to have a meeting with all those people that own those vehicles, because for us, they've also distorted the streets within Umuahia Capital. That they use it as a parking lot. You see 5 or 6 vehicles, buses lined up on some streets. If you go to Ukulehe, that street has been taken over by buses. If you go to Crowder, you know, the one Christmas, they leave all their vehicles on the road. So we're going to go to a meeting with them. We did that in December, but we decided to, you know, step down. Now we're going to call them, move until the terminal is ready. We won't fold our arms and be waiting until the terminal is ready. Things are going to move on, but we need to make the city, you know, accessible, easy for people to maneuver. We have told them you will now move all your vehicles either into Okiwe Park or inside the Abba Park, inside of the back parks. And then anytime it's their thought, you call that vehicle to come and load. We wouldn't allow you to now leave them on the roads. And this is where that collaboration also comes in with the mayor, Umuahia North, and then the Commissioner for Transport. But this is what we think we're going to do, and we will pursue that. Then the other question is Abia Hotels, that the case is in court, you know. So I wasn't served, you know, so I don't know if it's in court. I won't say what I don't know. The only thing I know is that I was paid 450 million and he collected it. And then we have shot, His Excellency showed the human face, you know, to him more than he deserved. You know, so we'll wait. Maybe if the Attorney General gives us any directive, we'll abide by that. Then the station manager, Mr. Samson Neze, talked about. Okay, then I think I've answered that question.
All right, sir.
You know, yeah, there's one you asked about the fate of the building at the center, at the bus. Yes, that building it will be, you know, renovated. It will be retrofitted into an event center. You know, that entire space is going to have like a city center approach, where if you come into Umuahia, you can get anything you want within that city, within that space. You know, the same way you have in some advanced countries. There are always a city center, you see shopping mall, this one, train facility, bus center, recreational facility. A lot will be within that space. So it's going to, at the end of the day, if you see the plan of that place, I mean, you will be so glad that you have a governor like His Excellency Dr. Lesoti.
Okay, sir. Probably because of some of the roads we have witnessed in Umuahia and some other places in the state, the Dr. Joseph Carlo claimed that the governor of the state, Dr. Alex, constructed. And it seems the UCDA had been very quiet about this, been in custodians of some of this.
You know, I mean, for me, I mean, all of you, you've lived here. You are part of the changes going on. You see, what I mean is you have been seeing the changes going on in the, and I think that statement is quite unfortunate. You know, is something that is completely not true. You know, if you pass through people that visited Abia or Umuahia during the December period, you know, I mean, they are so excited what they saw, and a lot that will happen between now and is it the bank road that is a painted library avenue that everybody today, you know, people can walk on that road, pedestrians can use the pedestrians road, almost 4 vehicles can drive on that road comfortably. You know, is it the Agberonsi Boulevard that is painted? Is it the road from Aheke connecting Bende Road that is ongoing? Is it this new one that we have gotten an approval, you know, from the agency to open up? You know, there's another road that we are going to open from First Bank that will bring you out to FMC. You know, there's a road there. There's a road directly opposite First Bank. A road, but people, it has been overgrown with trees, with, just by the railway station, just opposite First Bank, brings you out. It's a road that is in the master plan. We are going to open that road. So a lot is happening in the state capital. A lot is going on. So for me, it is completely not it's a true statement, and it's quite unfortunate.
Now, there's very wonderful analysis of what you are doing in your organization, UCDA, general manager you are. Giving us a very good rundown of what you are doing. But I want to take you on one or two issues. And number one is the governor posted why he was campaigning, or he said why he was campaigning, that nightlife is going to gradually return in Umuahia. And till now, sometimes I return back here very late in the night. Getting transportation to where you're going to, and nightlife where he said, he talked about why he was campaigning. To me, we've not started seeing anything yet. And then you made mention of the Christmas, people that return home and all that. And I want to bring your attention to the fact that most times in the night, those lights are no longer working. Most of them have gone off. And even the one in though Abia is not your jurisdiction, even the one in Abia, we deposit Abia State Government.
That's the solar lights.
Not the solar lights, some of those decorations and all that beautified the city.
Yeah.
Some of them they've stopped working. So what are you people doing?
That's the Christmas light. Is it the Christmas light?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
What are you people doing to have continuity of some of those things and all that? Then the nightlife. What are you doing as well to make sure that nightlife return back in Umuahia in full force?
Yeah.
Because when you come back to Umuahia in the night, it's a glorified village.
Okay, so for me, and not even for me. I move around in the night during the Christmas season. I was getting home 2 a.m., 1 a.m. every night. Nightlife has returned. To my before by 6 o'clock, everybody has gone to bed in Umuahia. Today, activities. If you go to Ishigate by 10, the activities are there, and people feel safe. Not that people are there, but there's this, sense of security. People now feel about the state. If you go through the boulevard, activities are going on till you get to Tower. If you go to Tower by 10, 9, most times I will come out there by 1 a.m. Coming from Afugri, coming back to my village. I noticed that people are there, so the nightlife is returning back to Umuahia. And that was why I mentioned, the issue of transportation, the access route, that we are trying to now ensure that those estates, that they built the Agunosi estates and then the Himri, so that those estates can now, even the IBB, connect them to the city, so that people can now have means of moving around, at night. So we can talk about movement, but nightlife to a large extent, has returned back, to Umuahia. So I think, but there are lots needs to be done, And then these lights you talked about, these are seasonal lights, because I tried to get more clarification from you. If they are the Christmas lights, and these are things that, are tied to a particular season. I thought you were talking about solar. So when you now said it's the Christmas, and then you can see the solar lights are there. These are better solar lights than what we used to have before, but these ones, you can see that they've also extended the nightlife in the city. They've enhanced the security within the town, both economic and social. So the city is opening up.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Then, this fall, what are you doing about, each time they are doing that stuff, each time it's on, you see the water splashing to passerbys and cars, turning around from navigating from that other point to Ishigate and all that. You see the floods and all that. It happens in Abia too, but here in Umuahia, it still happens. What are you doing to ensure that you can have it in such a way to not be, moving away from the have yet?
No, we're working on a proposal to address that. You know, so and very soon that issue will be resolved. It's a technical issue, so it's His Excellency has also directed that we should look at that and then find a solution to it.
All right, thank you, sir. We want to appreciate you so much for joining us.